Talk the Boat live here at News Talk 92.3 KTAR. The third and final presidential debate. It comes to a close. Rob Hunter.
Very exciting moment,
We
Chuck.
made it through debate season. Now the playoffs. Rob Hunter is here. My name is Chuck Powell, and I just want to, first of all, throw out there just how angry I was that our relationships with New Zealand didn't come up.
Very strategic and important.
Those
You're right.
people have been on our nerves for years, and I've had it.
Send in the troops. Occupy New Zealand.
That's right.
There's your new slogan, President Obama.
Well, let's begin with the difficult position that Mitt Romney was in going into a debate with the president, who's been there 4 years, where he doesn't have any foreign policy. His vice president doesn't have any foreign policy experience. I don't even think either of those two goody-goodies have ever even been in a bar fight. And yet here he comes into the third and rubber match debate having to discuss foreign policy. He was in a difficult position today.
It was, and not knowing, where to go and what, not having formed the relationships that you need to form that you have to when you're the president, that Obama has done. And it's Obama's really strong suit, if you look at it. His economic record, not so good.
Right.
But his foreign policy record, I mean, he's basically taken George Bush's foreign policy and he's put it on steroids. He's like, all right, I'm going to take drone strikes. I'm going to put them in Pakistan. I'm going to put them in Yemen. He's actually done drone strikes in Somalia, gone after al-Qaeda where he needed to. Obviously, the bin Laden raid, not telling Pakistan. So as far as that goes, his strong point. Plus, what's Romney going to do to disagree with him? He's either got to bomb more countries or he's going to have to withdraw all the troops. Other than that, it's a little nuanced and there's nothing really to it as far as the differences. He did try to bring up Mali, though. We haven't heard that much in the presidential campaign.
Well, President Obama, when he campaigned 4 years ago, he was really in a good position. He was taking on a soldier, and America was war-weary. And so he could take that passive approach. I think we see a different Barack Obama now, who has been in the hot seat, who's been making the decisions as a commander-in-chief. And so he gets to poke out his chest and say, well, what do you know, Mitt? I've been running this country for 4 years, and trust me, it isn't. It's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
So he had that opportunity. Mitt Romney, and I'd been criticizing him for the last couple of weeks because he kept talking about how he wanted to put troops everywhere. We need to put guns in the hands of Syrians. We can't announce when we're leaving Afghanistan. We got to get tougher on Iran. We've got to show more support for Israel. And yet tonight, he really came off as, I want to be the peacemaker.
Yeah.
Look at me. I don't want to fight any more wars again. As a matter of fact, he was criticized as sounding left. And that was his strategy coming in, was to surprise Barack Obama by being more of a left candidate when it came to foreign policy. Did that work for him, or did he fail? Did he crash and burn?
What Mitt Romney had to do tonight was look presidential, and by that I mean if we do vote for him and he becomes the 45th president of the United States, we have to have a confidence in him that if something goes wrong in Iran, he'll know how to handle it. He'll be able to handle it. I think he started slow, but I think he accomplished that goal. And I think if you take what you said earlier about the president being just that much more knowledgeable about foreign policy, you can say, okay, Mitt passed that test. Obama's job was to reinforce what he's done over the past 4 years and saying, look, you know what, I didn't run away from the fight. I brought the fight to the bad guys in their country, and you want to change course now, similar to what George W. Bush did in 2004 to John Kerry, saying, you want to change course in the middle of all this? I don't think that's a good idea. The difference is this is an economic election, not a foreign policy election.
Right. Well, it was a win for Barack Obama. How dramatic a win it was, that remains the discussion. Does this change things? There's been a lot of momentum on the Mitt Romney campaign.
Well, there's 2 weeks left. I think really America wanted a close race to begin with, and I think that's what we're going to see for the next 2 weeks. Plus, everybody's narrative is better. Media coverage is better if the race is close. So the race is going to stay close. It's literally going to come down to 1 or 2 states come November 6th. Ohio going to be the key state with 18 electoral votes. So it doesn't even matter necessarily what Arizona thinks, but it matters what Ohio thinks and which way they're going to go. And does this change anything there? Probably not a major swing.
What was the highlight in this debate, or was a low light the highlight?
Yeah, I think it was that Obama moment. The one people are going to talk about, I think, is that Obama moment with the aircraft carriers, and we'd also have less bayonets than we did horses. And we have aircraft carriers, planes flying. We have boats that go underwater. We call them nuclear submarines. That's probably the talking point of that, is he's trying to lecture Romney about, this is how the military works. You don't even know that.
Hey, son, I've done this for 4 years,
exactly.
and you don't even understand how this works.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Mitt Romney had a strong moment when he sort of described President Obama's apology tour throughout the world, and even if there's not much truth to that, even if that's an exaggeration of a few true facts, if you throw that out into the American universe, the American takes that very sensitively. Don't you dare apologize for us. We don't have anybody to apologize for. I thought that was well done by him. I still think that Barack Obama, even though it's about foreign policy, which we expected him to win on, I think that at the end, when he started talking about China, is the point that he needed to make throughout all of the debates. And that was, you keep talking about all of these, the way that you're going to fix the economy. We're going to add to the military, even though the military is not asking for any financial support. You're going to eliminate our deficit. You're going to give tax breaks to everybody. And you haven't explained where you're going to make these cuts. And I think he referenced it in the end when he said he was trying to lure from him that he's going to cut educational programs and that he is going to cut research and development programs. And Mitt Romney would never come out and say it, but I think Barack Obama was like, I'm running out of time to debate this guy, so I'm just going to insinuate it here at the end. And I thought it was actually effective because that's what I fear. That's what I fear is going to happen, that Mitt Romney is going to get to the point where he needs to make cuts and some really valuable areas are going to get destroyed.
Well, unfortunately, when you're in $1 trillion deficit year after year after year, something has to be cut.
True.
I wish that was what the election would be about, because you look at either candidate. Barack Obama, 4-year, his plan, $20 trillion in debt. You look at Mitt Romney, he's about $19.5 trillion in debt after the first 4 years of his administration. So what's the difference between the two candidates? I mean, $500 billion, $500 billion. That's about it.
Well, it's over. Debate season has come to an end. That means that we only have one big night left, and that is election night. Who will be the President of the United States? The talking ends, the voting begins.